What up, nerds? We are back in the radio holes for another episode of the A Winner Is You podcast. It's that time of year again in what we play, Resident Evil. That's right, folks. It's the summer of Resi once again. And here we are to talk about Resident Evil. It's Resident Evil Code Veronica, but in my notes, I was typing so fast, I've written it wrong. I've written Resident Evil Dos Veronica. So,
oh, two of them.
Yeah. We're getting double Veronica
very nice
today, which,
yeah.
I mean, in a way, we do in this game, right? Double person who is Veronica.
Yeah.
If my maths are correct, this is the 14th Resident Evil game that we've played. And I was also trying to remember because we've done a couple of others, and all I could remember was Dino Crisis. Have I missed anything? So is this like the 6th? No, this will be the 15th. If I've not forgotten any games.
We had a ranking somewhere, didn't we? Which I'm never going to be able to find ever again.
In my maths, I looked up so I texted Alex a couple of weeks ago saying I'd ranked all the Resident Evil games that we had covered for the podcast. And there's 14 of those, including Code Veronica. And then I was like, oh, but we also played Dino Crisis. So I think we're on 15. That sounds roughly correct.
Doesn't sound insane to me.
No.
Let me just check the Twitter. I can go through our media, I assume, and find the last time we did a ranking picture. This is going to be last summer, of course.
Summer ago.
Oh shit! Did we not rank it after we did Resi 3? Bollocks, we didn't.
We haven't done it since Resident Evil 3.
We'll have to do the ranking on the next pod because I don't know where we put it.
Anyway,
balls.
We've done a lot of these now. Is this the 4th or 3rd year of this? Fourth year of Resident Evil games. This is one I've sort of had my eye on almost since day one, really. I've been sort of interested in it from afar, but also scared to play it for reasons that I guess we'll get into at some point.
Indeed, we will.
Where has this sat in your get to Resident Evil? Well, you had already played it, obviously.
Yeah, typically it sits with all my other metallic items in the security box. Like above middle, maybe.
Okay,
I reckon.
Kelsey, friend of the show, said that this is his Resident Evil 3. Would you agree with that?
I mean, there's a whole history to that statement that I will get into later.
That I was, I'm not.
But I would say no. I mean, it is technically Resident Evil 3 because it follows the story of 2, and 3 is a spin-off that I believe happens while 1 is happening or something. Is that right?
Wait, say that again.
It doesn't 3 Nemesis happen sort of while 1 is happening, or 24 hours after, or something like that.
So. It's sort of
before 2, anyway.
It's sort of set. It's concurrent, kind of within the broad speaking sense, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So yes, canonically, I guess in the terms of the timeline, it is the follow-on to Resident Evil 2. Do I prefer it to Resident Evil 3? Yes, I think I do. Yeah, I think I do. Do you?
You caught me off guard with that.
Sorry.
You caught me off guard because I was trying to think back to our Resident Evil 3 podcast, and I thought you were. I mean, I guess it doesn't preclude you from being a fan of it, but you were quite high on it. Insofar as it sort of just goes quite actiony, which I suppose.
What, 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way that the other 2 Resident Evil games up to that point hadn't. I think so. I was caught off guard with this game by how, and bear with me, Resident Evil fans, how camp and sort of schlocky the story was, even for a Resident Evil game. I wasn't expecting how weird it got at times.
It certainly for me, I think this is the one that started that.
Oh, really?
It really started.
Yeah.
It kicked off the camp. It had a camp kickoff.
So it was one sort of. I'm trying to think back now because
I mean, one is schlocky because it's just terribly written and acted, isn't it? Yeah, it's not trying to be it like this one is. There's no cross dressing in that one. There's just Jill sandwiches.
Yeah, I was forgot
because four is absolutely dumb as well. 5 to 6 probably, if I could be bothered to sit through it, and then 7 they kind of tried to calm down again. So I think this is the one where it truly embraced the camp on purpose. It's their Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, it certainly does that.
It's better for it. I think I love how stupid this game story is.
Yes.
Well, the story is actually quite important in terms of the history of Umbrella, which I haven't actually got any notes on because I can't really be bothered to tell everybody that. Just read it. But yeah, I love all the stupid characters in this. I think they're all great. I think Matrix Wesker is great. I think Sassy Claire is great. I think Steve is incredible. I think the Ashfords are great. They're all just a lovely, fun time.
Yeah, it's one thing that I always like to. Whenever I'm playing a Resident Evil game for this podcast, I'm quite excited because for some reason, as many as we've played now, I keep struggling to sort of place the game within the universe, sort of even from like, you know, like from a timeline and like characters perspective. I think, do you know what? I think it's partly because I guess it's been over 4 years that we've been doing this, but also like because we've gone from PS1 like straight up to the point that like some of the Resident Evil games that were played are very much modern day games. So like the breadth of graphics have thrown me to the point that sometimes there will be recurring characters in this game that I am for some reason not registering because in a previous game they have just been a blocky splodge on a screen. I was trying to it took me a moment to place Claire and Chris Redfield because for some reason I kept getting them mixed up with Leon. So Chris Redfield's in the first one, right? Leon's number 2 because he's a policeman.
So is Claire. Claire is number 2
Claire's
as well.
Number 2 because she's looking for. Is she looking for Chris?
Yeah,
she just spends a lot of time looking for Chris. I've just realised, and
the whole time looking for Chris. Yeah,
and then 3 happens. Who do we play? Who do we play in 3? It's a girl,
Jill, who's also in the first game.
Who's also in the first game. So does she leave the mansion in the first game and go to the city and just start shooting up a stuff?
I think so. Yeah. She just marches straight out that door, straight to justice.
Then we get Code Veronica, where it's Claire Redfield looking for her brother still, and then it moves on to her brother looking for her. Weird kind of event.
It's a lot of looking going on.
Yeah, and then canonically it's 4, which we've got up next, in which Leon's just looking for a president's daughter.
So Leon's basically just taken on sort of.
He's gone off on a different
presidential work or something.
Yeah. he's done with being a slightly incompetent police officer. He's just become some sort of hitman for the president.
Incredibly competent, competent hitman.
I'm not even going to continue to what's next. So I think
because then we go back to Chris and Shiver. So
it's news. And what are they doing again in 5? Who are they looking for? Anyone?
They're
investigating some virus.
Aren't they? I suppose 5 is supposed to be the carry on from this, because at the end of this game, they sort of say they're going to go and end Umbrella once and for all, don't they? In the plane or the helicopter together. Whereas 4, then they just didn't. they just weren't there at all. They just ditched him for Leon.
And so I feel like I've fairly got a handle on what's going on there.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on because there's I feel like millions of different types of virus. Like it's not just the same virus, is it?
In this one,
or in
general,
it feels like it's a new virus every time, and they all do different things. Like I'm playing 4 at the moment, and they don't appear even to be zombies really, until because there's a bit in 4 where you open a door and it's a bathroom, and there's a guy in it, and when you kill him, Leon goes, "Well, at least they go to the toilet, so they're not." Or he says something weird about them going to the toilet, and I was like, "Oh well, yeah, I guess a zombie wouldn't go to the toilet, would it?"
Yeah, and I do enjoy that bit very much as well. Just catch a man, with his chap out, and just give
It'd be good
and the state of that urinal as well. They've been shitting in that thing. Well, hopefully it's rust, but it looks like rusty water. Well, you know what I mean?
In a previous podcast, we have spoken about how when I was in primary school, there was a girl that used to come into the boys' toilets and sit on the urinals. So she may have done
what a deviant.
Yeah. So it may happen. They just may be doing that. I would have been...
I mean, that's quite progressive, I suppose.
I would have
she
been
was ahead of her time.
I would have been very much into it if the guy was like pants around the ankles, taking a pee.
I would have loved that.
That would have been so...
And he's got to waddle after you.
He couldn't walk, yeah. I guess maybe that was too much memory to put in a different animation for one dude that you might not find. But that would have been good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's 4. We're not here to talk about that, are we?
Yeah, we've dived into 4 too early, haven't we? Before we talked about this, we've erased Code Veronica from our memory.
Yeah, well, I was just too excited to get going. I finished Code Veronica probably at about the worst time I possibly could have, just in time for Alex to go on holiday.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I've just got to keep this ball rolling because I've sort of picked the Resident Evil scab, so I'm just going to dive straight in. And I was like, if I remember right, Resident Evil is slightly longer than the other Resident Evil games that we've played previously. I was thinking like 15-ish hours.
Yeah, so I think, that's
like,
about right.
I may as well get a jump start. Mm-hmm. But we can talk about that next week because you have been going all over the shop with your Resident Evil escapades.
Let's save that till next episode for sure.
We're here to talk all things
Code Veronica. Yeah, indeed we are. Shall I hit you with some notes?
Yeah, let's go. Let's dive straight in.
So, right, the story of Code Veronica is actually it's quite interesting, and I think it's been misconstrued over the years. There's lots of I don't want to call it misinformation, and it's probably just sort of
fake news.
Yeah, where people kind of incorrectly tout this notion that Code Veronica was supposed to be Resident Evil 3, but that is not the case. But we'll get into that in a second. So originally, we all know the original Resident Evil released on the PlayStation 1 in March 1996, and it was a huge success. Sega were desperate for a bit of that. They'd obviously got a good relationship with Capcom, thanks to all the beat-em-ups and things that Capcom had released for them in the past. Fighting games that they'd released for them in the past. And so they wanted the game on Saturn. So it was hold on a minute. So yes, apparently that game was actually originally planned for the Saturn, but they scrapped it due to budget limitations. So what they did instead, after Sega then asked them about it,
limitations.
Yeah, time and budget. Yeah. Okay. So that was initially they were planning to do. Ran out of time.
It would have looked fairly different on the Saturn.
It does look pretty different. Yeah, they did make it for the Saturn. I have that version actually somewhere over here.
Okay, so I take it the primary platform was the Dreamcast, and interesting. Okay, how is it?
Resident Evil 1 on the Saturn is fine. It's feature complete. It's actually got an extra mode in it, this battle mode. It just has worse graphics and sound.
You were talking about Code Veronica on the Saturn.
No. Sorry, this is Resident Evil 1. Okay. Yeah, this is Resi 1. It's all part of the story. So yeah, because they ran out of time and money, they scrapped the original version so they just released it on the PS1. Then Sega asked for it, so they outsourced the development of that to a company called Nextech, who are now known as Nex Entertainment. This company also actually developed Dino Crisis as well. So they did that port for Resi 1 in about a year, and then because of that, Capcom then greenlit a port of Resident Evil 2 while it was still Resident Evil 1.5, which is the version that famously got scrapped, completely redone after Kamiya wasn't happy with any of it. Or Mikami, I can't remember who it was who wasn't happy with it. So that, of course, delayed the Saturn port, and it eventually materialized that Saturn's problems with 3D object rendering, or the lack of capabilities of it. They decided it wasn't going to be able to handle like the zombie count of 2. They just said it was going to be shit on 2 was going to be shit on the Saturn. I think they said they couldn't make it come to Saturn without making downgrades, and Mikami and Kamiya didn't want to do that, especially as they couldn't guarantee that it was going to make bank back, because the first Resident Evil on Saturn did not do that either, because, I mean, who has a Saturn? So after the reveal of the Dreamcast, Capcom was then eager to develop a Resident Evil game on this new hardware. Obviously, it was the most powerful machine at the time, and also as kind of like an unofficial apology for cancelling Resident Evil 2 on the Saturn. So they didn't have in-house availability to make the game, so they again outsourced it to Nextech, which brings us back around to the porters of Resident Evil 1 for the Saturn. So they greenlit Code Veronica in spring 98, and they revealed it at this Sega Dreamcast-centric New Challenge conference in October of that year in 98. So it wasn't called Resident Evil 3 because Capcom apparently wanted to keep numbered games on Sony's machines because they knew where their bread was buttered, or at least more significantly buttered. They were going to give Nintendo and Sega these spin-offs or subtitled games. I mean, they technically gave Nintendo 0, but that was as a later arrangement. So Resident Evil 3 was being developed by Hideki Kamiya for the PlayStation 1. That then moved to the PlayStation 2, which came out shortly, or was revealed shortly after they started development on that. So initially that took the number 3 with it, and then it eventually got upgraded to Resident Evil 4. And then they dropped the number 3 to another spin-off game, which was codenamed Resident Evil 1.9, and that became Nemesis.
Okay.
So while they were developing it at Nextech, Capcom they sent over the lads to keep an eye on everything. Very Nintendo-like. Shinji Mikami was producer. The legendary Shinji Mikami, of course. Resident Evil 2 script writer. The one who rewrote Resident Evil 2 after Kamiya's script was shit. Okay. Noboru Sugimura was back to write the scenario for this one. And initially the game was going to be about Jill. But apparently, well, not apparently, it's there, right there. At the end of Claire B on Resident Evil 2, she says something. Kamiya put a line in the script at the end about Claire going to find her brother. And that was apparently without Sugimura's permission, and he had a massive go at Kamiya about it because he was super pissed off. So to do that, to satiate those fans who have just had this cliffhanger at the end of Claire B and to avoid plot holes, they changed the protagonist of this game to Claire and dumped Jill into Resi 3 or 1.9 as it may have well been at the time.
Got you.
Yeah. So the idea of this game is to explore the backstory of Umbrella, which I mentioned earlier, and its founders. Now, the funny thing about this, and the progenitor virus as well, which is the precursor to the T virus, which is, of course, the one that started the Raccoon City incident. So this is basically where the virus started. And we do hear Alfred Ashford at one point say, "My grandfather was one of the founding fathers of Umbrella," when he's up on the balcony with his sniper rifle.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I do remember that. That's right.
Yeah, but hilariously, before they became campy British weirdos, they were going to be called Hilbert and Hilda Kruger, the children of a Wehrmacht officer who fled Nazi Germany to an island via a U-boat. And they were going to have an elderly man, a butler, was going to be a character who was an elderly man who fought alongside the Kruger's dad in World War II. So they were going to be Nazis. But they changed them to British nobles because they were concerned that Nazi association would harm the game's European sales, and the butler is just in files after this, I think. So we avoided some Nazi fun, which it seems to be in keeping with Capcom, especially if you think about Resident Evil 5. They certainly didn't have any reservations about what they did with the enemies in that game.
No, they did not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not upset that they sort of changed that, to be honest. But then I'm not upset in 2025. I feel like sort of Nazis have sort of been done. And I don't know, we're sort of politically approaching like a weird, I don't know, the snake is beginning to...
Nazi revival?
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know if maybe it would have been more interesting at the time, but yeah, in 2025 when I played this, yeah, I think it feels like a better choice to just go campy British dude.
I mean, there's definitely no stopping them from doing campy Nazis because they were pretty camp anyway. But I definitely prefer them as they are.
I guess actually, now I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about like the Nazis that were very interested in the occult and sort of investigating like really
and kind of germ stuff, right?
Yeah,
what was that the Japanese? Well,
I mean,
there's the developers of the game.
Maybe fits actually in a way that I just sort of realised. Don't know.
It does just seem like a real cop out, doesn't it? Like, we're going to take players and fans to where the T virus originated. Nazis.
Yeah, just
like, come on.
Yes, this is a bit
Nazis did it. Those people we were mates with in World War II, they did it.
They did it.
So Shinji Mikami, as the producer, chose this guy called Hiroki Kato. And he served as a system planner on Resident Evil 1, and he worked on the Saturn ports of Resi 1 and 2 before the latter's cancellation. So he was the director. He wanted to recreate the this zapping system. That's something that's been brought up quite a few times for us, that they had in Resident Evil 2. But he didn't actually like the fact that he thought it didn't go far enough in Resident Evil 2 to differentiate the two characters, because it is basically just the same scenario twice with a bit of different story.
Oh, is that what you mean by the zapping? Like just replaying the game as a different character? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, yeah, because that was what they called a concurrent zapping system, where the two, Claire and Leon, are supposedly, they're in the police station at the same time. You don't see them very much. Whereas this one, they wanted it to be a chronological zapping system, where of course the environment is the exploring of the same environment is done not done simultaneously, so they would do it one after another, and then the environments change as a result, and things can be left for the other character to pick up, like leaving stuff for Chris.
I was trying to think, is it fair to say that during this sort of era they left like their risk taking to the sort of side games? So there's stuff like you're saying, like the zapping system, or being able to leave things for characters coming up behind you. And then I was thinking about Resident Evil 0, in which you could sort of pass items between each other during specific parts of the game. Whereas, like, in my mind, other than maybe like action to horror to action tone, 1, 2, and 3 are kind of similar. There's not really much like zany. Try to think. Not really zany sort of gameplay mechanics that they had.
No, I mean 3 got obviously more action orientated and had you dodging and all that kind of stuff, and there was the kind of Nemesis decision system thing. But yeah, other than that,
so it did.
Largely just kind of it just sort of, it did a Dino Crisis 2 on it basically, didn't it? They just sort of tried to change the formula, but it still felt quite definitively Resident Evil. Yeah, so Kato basically said Cambia prefers to have his events cross over using the story. I prefer them to cross over using actual gameplay. So that kind of tracks with the way this one works. I
do sort of find that interesting. Like, I know it's just a sort of palette switch, but when you're sort of going back through the area that Jill's already been to, is Chris. No, it's Claire and then Chris, isn't it? You can see the sort of the chaos that Claire has left in her wake, like exploded walls, fires, just carnage in the place. And then even in the Antarctic as well, there's all the remnants of Alexia's big tentacle flying about when he gets there. So we actually played Code Veronica X this time around. I did go back and start playing the Dreamcast version until I think I hadn't saved for ages, and I was playing this on my Dreamcast with the GD EMU in it. For some reason, all the music and sound effects stopped. And then something else stopped working as well. And then I thought, well, I haven't saved it in ages, and I've already played it once, so I scrapped it, which sucks because I was really enjoying it on the Dreamcast. You flew through it on your GDEMU.
Oh yeah, on the Dream. Yeah, I did, didn't I? Yeah, because I'd played it through already, and then I watched you play most of it on stream, so I knew exactly where to go. I didn't need to watch any of the cutscenes because I'd already seen them twice. So yeah, I was absolutely flying. I was gutted when that broke. So I think I also tried to play it on my disc-based Dreamcast, which I tried to do first, but that didn't work. My Dreamcast never actually got any picture on the screen, so I don't know what the fuck's going on with my stuff here. It's all breaking down. The
difference between Code V and Code VX is cutscenes?
Yeah, I'll tell you more about that in a second.
Okay.
Let's get through that, and then I'll let you have more of a talk, because I'm just dumping stuff on you at the moment.
This is what I need after playing through a Resident Evil game.
So the original game was initially slated to come out in December 1999. It was delayed until the 3rd of February 2000, partly due to a bit of crunching at the end for some polish, but also Capcom reportedly was sort of content to ride out the unexpected successes of Resi 3 and Dino Crisis. They both surpassed their expectations, so they kind of wanted to let them keep soaking that up, and they also wanted to allow the Dreamcast to build more of a user base, because that only launched in September 99. So I guess they'd been bitten by the small install base with Sega already, so they kind of held off on that one. So instead, what they did is release the Dreamcast port of Resident Evil 2 in Japan. That was in December 99, but that came with a demo of Code Veronica on it. We never got that over here, because we actually got the Resident Evil 2 port 9 months after Code Veronica released anyway. So they did it in a I really don't get all that stuff with like older games. It's odd, because I'd imagine if you're porting Resident Evil 2 to the Dreamcast in Japan, you're porting the Japanese version of the PlayStation game and then tidying it up. Why aren't you porting the English, like the PAL and the American NTSC versions, the same way at the same time? What stopped them from doing that for 9 months? I don't get why we had to wait for this kind of stuff, unless it was purely for marketing reasons. I don't know. I have no understanding why they fucked that decision around, but whatever. So Code Veronica, the original on the Dreamcast, was something of a flop in sales, especially compared to Resi 3 and Dino Crisis. It only sold 1.14 million units worldwide, which is really good for the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
But far below Resident Evil 2, which sold 4.9 million, and Resident Evil 3, which sold 3.5 million on the PS1. Apparently, it still made a profit, and apparently Kato was banging on about he got a really good bonus off of the back of it anyway, so good for him. So what they subsequently did in Japan again, only for the Dreamcast, was release Biohazard Code Veronica Complete Edition, and announced a port for the PS2 as well. And then the Western code name of that is obviously Resident Evil Code Veronica X, which is the version that we played. This had some weird ports as well. So, like, the HD versions of this game are proper HD versions. So they came out on the 360 and the PS3. So you and I played the backwards compatible version of the HD version that is playable on both Xbox One and Series X. If you play it on a PS4, you are playing an emulated version of the PS2 game. You are not. So you get a better version of this game on the PS3 than you do in the PS4, or at least a higher fidelity version.
Right, okay.
It's a very strange decision.
I tell you what, as a man who has recently dusted down the PS5 and started poking at PlayStation games again, the way that Xbox have sort of done their backwards compatibility and sort of, I don't know, what is it, like sequencing of their video games is so much neater and nicer than the way PlayStation have done it. Like, there
was a reason we used to love it.
Yeah, I've got
until like 2 weeks ago.
I was looking it up, and I was like, if I can ever find the time, I really, really want to get. I've never played the DLC expansions of The Witcher 3. The reason being is that I got to the end of The Witcher 3 and chose Triss as my romance interest, finished the game and thought, that doesn't feel right for Geralt. It should be Yennefer, at least in my playthrough. So I was like, right, I need to play this again because I can't fix this. So I deleted my save, and then I did that and then started again. And I was like, oh, I don't have it in me to go through this game again. And then I just could never be bothered to then get to, because I kept saying I can't do the DLC until I've got my proper save, and I just never got my proper save again. So I downloaded.
That's guy.
Yeah, I downloaded The Witcher 3 recently on my PS5, thinking if I download it, I might eventually get to it. And then it was a few days, and I was like looking through the store, and it was like, oh, free PS5 upgrade of The Witcher. And I was looking, and I was like, there's two versions of this game. And then I looked, and I downloaded the PS4. Why when there's a PS5 version of the game that you don't have to pay extra for, does the PS4 still let you, or the PS5 still let you download the PS4 version of The Witcher 3. Like, and it does this so much. You've got to like double check what version of the game you're buying.
It does it every time, yeah.
When you're downloading.
Every time you buy a game, it gives you both versions, doesn't it? It's really strange.
I just wanted, so long story short, that checks out, because my experience of the PlayStation of late has just been weird ass version. So I'm not surprised that the Xbox version's there.
Yeah, it doesn't even play on PS5 as far as I can tell. I couldn't find it. I have the PS4 version of this game.
That sucks.
But I can't play it on PS5. It's just not been ported over, which is shit. Although you, of course, have the version I got you, which comes with the Devil May Cry demo, which I really want you to play and tell me how that demo feels.
Yeah, I need to. I should have it behind me.
Yeah, pre-orders, and I couldn't find, I couldn't source this in time, but pre-orders of Code Veronica X. I'm not sure if this is just on the PS2. It kind of makes sense that it would be on the PS2 rather than the Dreamcast, but they came with a DVD, a mockumentary DVD called Wesker's Report. So that uses footage from the first 4 games. Sorry, I guess this one as well. So it's 1, 2, 3, and this. And it's narrated by Wesker as well. But apparently it has loads of inconsistencies to the actual plots and stuff. And the reasons given for that is that the director of Code Veronica, Hiroki Kato, who also wrote the script for Wesker's Report, said he wrote the script while pretty intoxicated, and also he hadn't worked on Resident Us with his bonus that he got that he was banging on about earlier.
Neck and Japanese whiskey.
He's full of sake. He's like, fuck it. Whisker said, fuck you, Leon. No, wait, different one. So he also said, I hadn't worked on Resident Evil 2 or 3 and I had a really tight deadline. So apparently he smashed out the games as quickly as possible and then integrated their plots into Wesker's Report from memory. So, while drunk. So, well done, mate. He was never a director of a game again. He wrote the script for Resident Evil Gaiden on the Game Boy Color, the old expensive one. So, the differences that you talked about are apparently... obviously they improved the graphics. There's 9 minutes more cutscenes.
To the point that am I being unfair here? I found that the flip, is there something to do with the cutscenes in the gameplay? Because I found the cutscenes quite initially quite jarring. Well, they're using the same technology as the PlayStation ones. They've obviously got better, I don't know, they're obviously better quality, but they're FMVs, aren't they? So they're like, I don't know, pre-rendered
120p or whatever, just horrible shit. Yeah, I mean the in-game cutscenes, especially on the HD versions, do actually look pretty good. And I'll go into this later, but the extra budget sort of allowed for them to have these better facial animations and focus in on them more, be more cinematic and stuff. And that's one of Resident Evil. That's one of Code Veronica's biggest achievements, I think, especially at the time. So we got a cutscene where Claire encounters Wesker just outside the manor, and there's some different lines when he discovers Chris's presence on the island. Apparently, they wanted all those things in the original, but they ran out of time. The introduction to the Alexia battle, the first one, where she's throwing that fire shit around in the mansion mock-up, that was changed where Wesker in the Code Veronica, when he starts doing all his Matrix shit, he's like running off the wall and jumping around and flipping away from her, isn't he? With his old yellow cat's eyes.
Yeah, because there's a big reveal of his eyes.
Yeah. He doesn't do any of that in the original. He just doesn't use any of his powers. He just can't stop her. And also, he only notices Chris. You know, Chris is like hiding in the corner behind the stairs, and he like notices him on the way out. He doesn't notice him in the original Dreamcast version. It's only in X. He just simply runs out the door in the original game. And the ending apparently was considerably changed as well. It kind of has an extent. Well, it has a scene where no, I don't know if that. I haven't got a lot to explain that. It just talks about the presence of a lift overlooking the arena was cut out to allow room for the famous Wesker fight scene. But I don't Don't know what that meant. Well, I got that from the Resident Evil wiki. I don't know what that fight scene is. Because he has a scene with Chris. Is that the scene with Chris? Yeah, it must be. Where he's like, he beats the shit out of him, doesn't he?
Oh, right, okay, yeah, down in
outside, and then he gets crushed by all those things, and then just kind of gets up anyway.
Yeah, it's not like it's more of a cutscene where he just gets his ass kicked, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one where he's like, Wesker, you're alive, and Wesker just
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
They introduced the events where Wesker takes Claire hostage. Fucking amazing when you go find her as Chris, because Chris walks up to Claire in a prison cell and asks her if she can get the door open. It's a prison cell, mate. The whole point is I can't, dickhead. And the thing where they take Steve's body and they try and like experiment on it to get the sample of the virus out of Steve after he's turned into the old green giant. And then credits and backgrounds music were redone. And the other major change is Steve's hairstyle.
Oh,
now,
no, what?
In the original, he looks very much like Leonardo DiCaprio. In the X, he looks a little bit like Leonardo. This version here with his Tom DeLonge hair instead. That's on my shirt, by the way, for anyone listening. So I've heard it sort of posited earlier on today that was an attempt to avoid a lawsuit for him looking too much like Leonardo DiCaprio from his early works. So whether that's true or not, I don't know. But in every like model, every cutscene, even the family photograph he's got that he carries around with him, they changed his hair to like floppy fringe instead of full on like curtains open.
I just want to say this is a serendipitous piece of information. I was like, Steve Burnside. I was like, I have heard of this somewhere. Is that a skateboarder? Because I've been playing the Tony Hawk's game.
Oh, Bob Burnquist.
Well, Burnside is a level in the first Tony Hawk Pro Skater. That's where I've got this from.
Oh yeah. I hope it's named after him. It can't be because it was too early.
I was kind of hoping it would be. I was like so that what I was actually doing is I was like, where's Burnside in Tony Hawk supposed to be? And I was like, does that match his accent? But
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What you should do after this
Canadian, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does a little bit. You should go look up his voice actor on the Resident Evil wiki after this, because the guy looks like such a goober. He fits the voice of Steve perfectly. So, better visuals. Lovely old job compared to the PlayStation. It was the first mainline Resident Evil to abandon pre-rendered backdrops. Not forever, because the first two GameCube games obviously brought them back to sublime effect.
Hell yeah, they did.
This one has a fully polygonal engine. Dino Crisis had done that the year prior on the PlayStation. This game also took from that the panning camera that kind of moves to follow your character. There was a new lighting system, which they immediately spaff all over the wall with Claire having in prison. Like the first thing they do is like, check out these light, boys. Yeah, we talked about the cutscenes. They're also, of course, longer. They've got panning cameras. They focus on facial expressions. Very much a cinematic Resident Evil, the most they'd ever done, especially in the wake of things like Final Fantasy VII and Metal Gear Solid and the boundaries that they pushed towards the end of the PlayStation's life. It doesn't obviously look incredible now, but if you can try and bring yourself away from 4 and back to Code Veronica and then the original PlayStation games, what are your thoughts on this? Would you have been impressed back on the Dreamcast? I know I bloody would.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's great. I think one of the things that popped out to me is, and this may not be fair, this just may be a sort of David mismemory, is that in a lot of sort of video games of probably the previous era that preceded the Code Veronica stuff, so like the Saturn, maybe the PS1 and things like that, like all of this, when it did these sort of 3D environments, all of these 3D environments just looked like smudged JPEGs, whereas I think looking at this one, the big difference is that interactable objects, generally speaking, are noticeably different. So the thing that I can notice is, like, for example, if there's a few times there's like a joystick on a console, that looks very different. The interactable bits of that look very different from like the rest of the console. And I sort of enjoy that about these old games, because it to me, it like works better than I know this game has it as well, but in like visually and in my brain in terms of like world building. That's not the right word. Immersion. That's the word I'm looking for. Better than this sort of sparkling, flashing light saying, "Look, this is something you can go and pick up." Whereas it just looks something that is clearly stands out in the environment that you can draw your attention to. I think that's just a little thing. But yeah, I think this game looks great. They
also use the lighting system on that as well, don't they? Because I remember
Yes.
there were quite a few times where you're, especially towards the Antarctic section, you're turning lights on in rooms, and then you'd find like 7 herbs on the floor that you couldn't see when it was dark.
Well, that was another running theme that I was sort of playing as I was sort of playing the game while you were watching. As I would get continually frustrated about the game, how dark the game was, and that I would be always walking past things like herbs and stuff like that. And it was about 3/4 of the way through the game, I had to use the lighter, and I was like, oh, that's what they wanted me to do. They wanted me to walk around with a lighter on because it just lights up all the stuff that you can, again, the herbs and things that you can pick up. And so, yeah, it was a game mechanic that I failed to register in my brain. But again, I like it. When I realised it, I was like, oh, that is quite interesting because,
It's pretty cool.
At some point in the game, you get to change, especially when you're Claire, you change from how you don't have to, but you can change from having the lighter to having the lockpick. And in hindsight, that is a choice that has consequences in both directions that I never realized at the time. I was like, well, I'm obviously going to have the lockpick because I want to get into these things. Whereas there's probably lots of like incidental stuff around the level that I missed in terms of certainly health pickups, because I didn't often have a lot of those when I was playing through the game. And then there's the bats and stuff like that. And
there's a couple of fireplaces and stuff, isn't there, that I don't think I interacted with on either of my playthroughs. I think it was on the second one I realized like the most logical place where you have to backtrack all the way to the start, or effectively back to the prison anyway. And I honestly can't remember. Oh, it must be the bit where you go back and get all your stuff out of the security box.
When you got to go back to the prison, you're not talking about when you get the guy's drugs that he needs that you take back to him.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah,
okay.
But
you're getting to.
But as soon as I got that, I was like beelining for the poor bloke. Whereas
exactly the same.
There's a logical point where you have to go back to the prison, and I kind of thought to myself when I played it the second time, like, this is when I should have taken that medicine back as an incidental part of going back there, rather than just tracking all the way back to get it. Because, and we'll come to this later, I guess. Well, basically, we're gonna talk about the gameplay now anyway. But there's definitely a bloated part in the middle of this game that involves too much backtracking for too far of a distance every time, without enough save rooms or item boxes. At least that's how I see the middle part of this game. But when you're kind of finishing up as Claire before you start as Chris, and before you get to Antarctica, there's a real bit in that towards the end of the Rockfort Island section where you're just having to walk crazy distances to get shit. It might be the bit where you have to go back to that fucking guillotine and go put the blue thing on, or is that Chris who does that? Maybe that is Claire who does that.
Remember the guillotine?
Yeah, you have to go put the eagle plate on there. That might be Chris, actually. I'm not sure. So yeah, how do you see? I mean, did that bother you at the time, the backtracking stuff?
Yeah, it did.
Is it worse than other Resis?
It felt worse than other.
I think probably because there's such a big like actual distance, whereas the mansion is kind of like you're going from to room floor to floor, but this one is like you're going from across that fucking bridge all the way back.
And there's very often, there's a bit later on as well where it makes you go back and forth. I want to say at least twice, and then it gives you a doorknob to just let you cut it out. And it's like, well, you could have to give me the doorknob a little bit earlier. For the most part, the reason I think ultimately, yes, I think the backtracking the reason I'm using the word felt egregious is because I was actually thinking about this specifically in terms of other video games, and we've spoken about this. I feel like this is such a David trope that isn't actually interesting anymore, but I'm constantly fascinated with world building and the sense of making this is something that certainly the first few Resident Evil games, and Resident Evil games generally are so good at, is making the environment a character in its own right. And I was like, well, thinking about things like Dead Space, there was backtracking in that, and other Resident Evil games. And I'm just thinking, like, it didn't bother me in those games. What is it about this one that it did bother me about? It's a question. The reason I'm sort of stumbling here is because I don't really know the answer. All I can tell you is that yes, it did feel egregious at times, but also I don't know why it did. But that is a good point that you made actually about the switching from the lighter to the lockpick, which she could have fit both in her pocket, by the way.
If you can carry that many guns around,
exactly.
What's to stop you from? Yeah.
You're right. As soon I had it in my head because I was like, oh, he wants medicine. And as soon as he said that, for some reason, I was just like, right, I need to find the medicine. And as soon as he got that, I was like, right, I need to go back. So that I probably did more backtracking than the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Was organically trying to push me towards.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question? I feel like I spoke around it without actually directly giving you.
Yeah, I think so. Well, yeah, I think my point where I still think that there's not enough item boxes in this game, so it does feel like you're having to travel really long distances just to pick up one or two items, and then you may kind of not have the room by the time you get there. And it's just that bridge bit, because I'm pretty sure there is a point where you have gone from Alexia's like room all the way back, and I can't remember exactly what that is. But
there's another bit as well, and again, like, unless I played this wrong, there's the room that's like the two mirrored rooms that you get the record player, and you've got to like go back between the rooms. Like when you're playing as Chris, you could just use the stone to move between the rooms. Player, I had to walk all the way around every time.
I don't understand that either.
Why they would do stuff like that? It's really odd.
That is so odd. Yeah, I actually fucked that up on my first playthrough where I got all the way there and didn't have the red ant or something. So I had to, again, I had ended up making myself have more backtracking around than I actually really needed to.
And putting that dragonfly key back together involves a good bit of sort of back and forth. I missed it. I missed a wing for that for ages. Took me ages to go and find it again. I don't know, what else did I do? Something. Oh, the bit where you're God, this is so embarrassing. You know the bit where you're looking at the little dice with all the little symbols on it to figure out that riddle. Put it in the drawer.
It's like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got like a heart and a crown and all that kind of stuff, and you basically just didn't put it in the drawer. I did the puzzle, looked at the drawer, and was like, "Oh, there's nothing in it."
And walked away.
Yeah. And then for ages, I was trying to figure out like where the fuck is this thing that I'm not got, and then I checked a guide, and it was like put the thing in the drawer as soon as you've opened it. I thought, what? That's been in my item box again for ages after I did that puzzle, and just immediately went back and dumped it. What's that? I mean, it can be said, I suppose, that there's a lack of innovation in the gameplay. When you're on new hardware as well, of course, it's being developed by an outsourced team. It was also written by an outsourced team, technically.
Tough on them. You're right. If like being developed on new hardware, it's difficult for me at least to be too critical. I mean, I think that's like video games from time immemorial, right? They come out on new hardware and they just do the basics well, and then they sort of subsequently try to push the boat out. I mean, Gears of War is one that constantly jumps out at me. It's like when that Gears of War game came out on the Xbox One, it was just Gears of War again. New characters.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's a very good point. And some robots for some reason.
And some robots. They had new aliens, but the aliens were very much just the same as the previous aliens.
They really were, weren't they? There's a slightly different shade of red or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So the big kind of, well, the key innovations that they made were more to do with the AI of the enemies. The zombies in this game are grabby bastards.
Oh, they're little bastards.
They can do a 90-degree spin and lunge and an immediate bite on you, because you can sometimes you can shake the bites off, but sometimes you can't.
Because I'm interested in that. So the reason is because it came out my head, and if I don't say it right now, I'll forget.
Yeah.
We need to loop back after you finish this discussion. We need to loop back around and talk about that puzzle where you're trying to figure out the riddle about the different paintings. Holy shit!
Yeah, but you did that in a wanna.
I've accidentally. I don't know to this day how I got it right.
Yeah, let's end on that. So we'll quickly just say, yes, interactivity with the environment is another thing that this kind of innovates with, because obviously now it's a polygonal engine. It's not pre-rendered backgrounds. You can push zombies into walls. You can knock them over ledges if you get bitten near one, which is quite funny. There's a sniper rifle. You can zoom in with that in first person. That hadn't been done in Resident Evil up until that point. I think maybe there was something in Dino Crisis again that used that, but in the mainline Resident Evil series, we had never had a first view for a gun.
What's with the explosive backpacks they put on some of the...
I don't know. That is weird, but also I had a really good kill on one of those. I've got a sequence of videos that I recorded on my Xbox of moments where I ruined tension moments immediately afterwards. So, like, I mean, it's kind of easy for them. You know the bit where Wesker's giving Chris all that shit, and then he's like, now I'm going to leave you to play with this thing, and it's just another Bandersnatch, and you just shoot it with a couple of acid grenades and walk off. Like, pathetic.
Yeah, I think that's so funny, like how much build up the Bandersnatch gets on several occasions in this game, and it's just such a wet fart of an enemy.
I mean, it's annoying because it can reach you from like basically anywhere.
Yeah.
But once you've got some kind of explosive or whatever, a couple of shots will take it down.
You've got to fight in the water later on as Chris. And it's like just going around in the water and you just stand...
No, that's an albinoid. That's the adult albinoid. That is the worst and literally the wettest boss ever. Although, I mean, I suppose that big Kraken in Resi 5 is quite wet as well. But that's a literal sense. You've got, and again, the only other thing really is you've got two SMGs at times, and it can target multiple enemies.
Yeah,
there's not really.
I do like that's fun when you get to play as Steve, and it's just
where he can cross his arms like an absolute
it's just
ghetto
we're
blaster.
Just going to let you go mental here, and they don't have any ammo counters or anything like that. They just let you like sprint about like a maniac, just shooting, and that's a nice sort of relief. Is a good way.
That's a bit of catharsis in the middle of all the And
then you get back to I don't have enough of anything. Here comes that thing I'm not ready for. Yeah, it's just a nice little break.
Yeah, weirdly, there's no dodge maneuver in this game, even though there is one in Resident Evil 3, obviously come out. The director of that game, Kazuhiro Aoyama, he claims that Nemesis 3 was always meant to be a spin-off and more action focused, and because Code Veronica was a mainline entry, you don't get a dodge move.
You don't get it. You ain't allowed.
Okay, fair enough.
In this game, which reminded me of Resident Evil 8 for some reason. When you go into that whole in Resi 8, is it Resi 8 or 7? It's 8.
It's 8 with the doll.
Yeah. This one.
You mean the one that's hanging from that ceiling in Alexia's? Is that what you mean?
So there's a whole level dedicated to weird dolls in 8. And
8, yeah.
Yeah, and in Code Veronica, there's like when you go into the two people's bedrooms that are one person, there's lots of like dolls just sitting on shelves and things like that.
Yeah, but there's also that massive one hanging from the ceiling in the room up to, which does nothing.
It doesn't, ever. Yeah, it doesn't do anything, doesn't explain itself. Yeah, it was very
so weird. But yes, we can't talk about gameplay without discussing the choke points, I suppose, in this game, which are effectively the big bad boogeyman that... Yeah, go on, you elaborate.
It's the whole reason I'd never played this game up to this point, really, is because you can play yourself into a corner, right? You can not give Chris weapons or vice versa and just essentially make yourself stuck. It's like sort of soft lock yourself out of completing the game. Is that fair?
I mean, I still soft locked myself out of the Magnum because I left in my first playthrough, I left the empty extinguisher. I left it in the security box, thinking, well, I don't need that anymore. Completely forgetting that was what it was. I mean, how early in the game is that? Versus, not only is it the Antarctic, but it's the one where you're as Chris is when you actually need it again. But don't get rid of it.
The place I was closest to doing it wasn't even one of the spots that I was scared about. It's that boss on the plane. then I just hadn't saved enough sort of explosive arrows. So I was just like, well, I'm not sure. For a while I was playing this, I'm not sure there's a way to do this.
Thank you to Ink Ribbon.
Yeah.
Thanks to Ink Ribbon on YouTube for pointing out the gas grenades will allow you to take him down in, what is it? 9 handgun shots after that or something?
Yeah, gas him and then,
No, I worried for you. I worried for you until I found that on YouTube, because I thought, like, he might not be able to do this. He might not have enough ammo or anything. Which I often don't find with Claire. It's normally the one time I've locked myself out of the game when I was playing it with my mate Chris, is we got all the way to like Chris in the Antarctic, and we're like, we don't have enough stuff. Like, these hunters are going to ruin us. We're going to have to start again. We just can't do it, which is incredibly harsh.
It's harsh
as an idea.
Yeah, it's just a bit. I was going to say, it's the difficulty with these sorts of games is, especially because you're a game like Resident Evil that's got boss fights and things like that require significant resources to sort of best, is that they sort of they sort of base a lot of their game around resource management and making it really tight. Yeah. So if you don't play super conservative with everything you've got, you can sort of make the game. This one probably more so than any of the others that we've played so far. You can just make the game impossible to finish.
Yeah, and without knowing as well, like you don't realize on a first playthrough what you're actually doing to affect the rest of the game. Whereas obviously subsequent playthroughs, you know what to do, and it becomes a much more enjoyable and less stressful experience.
Well, yeah, I'd say actually, like, having sort of you as a Sherpa throughout playing these games has been probably the reason that I've been able to sort of enjoy these, because I'd say also, and it's one thing that I've been sort of finding quite cathartic playing 4, because you don't need to worry so much about resources, is that as a sort of a person that plays video games in 2025 for decades at this point, you're taught to, especially like we're talking about Gears, you can literally areas of the game that you've got to kill everything to progress. So like as a gamer, I feel like I'm conditioned to go in room, kill enemies, search around for puzzles. Whereas this game like will actively punish you if you seek out enemies, and you're sort of taught almost in a Dark Soulsian way, but in many ways harsher, because it will just like take your progression and think, well, you're stuffed. You don't want to kill enemies. If you can at all avoid it, you shouldn't be killing things in this game.
But then even then, sometimes I was ending the playthrough with like loads of ammo that I haven't even touched. Like, left in both those submachine guns from Claire, and basically thought to myself, I might as well just use these now, because otherwise I'm not going to touch them. So I'm just going to put my handgun away for a bit and have some fun with these. So it does throw a lot of weapons at you, but it's just they're all kind of like back end loaded, or at least they're loaded sort of just after the swap over, and you still kind of need to have at least left some health or something for the poor guy.
Yeah.
This is definitely the reason why a lot of people think it's the hardest, at least of the original Resident Evils.
Certainly that boss fight of the enemy on the plane is, even if you've got, I would assume, even if you've got all the stuff you need, is still quite tough, because if he's winding up to hit you and you're trying to run it away, you're already too late. It is really horrible, isn't it? It's really, really brutal sort of avoidance mechanics. They're sort of non-existent. You've got to know what he's going to do almost before he does it. Otherwise, you've got to be
so wide from him. Yeah, you've basically got one shot before you have to start moving again.
There's the old bit with Burnside when he turns into that zombie. Like,
honestly, I died like 10 times to that.
Yeah, luckily I was looking at a guide before I initially started it, and it was like, if you just run this straight line, you'll hit you twice, but every time it hits you, use a health. And that was the only way I got through that.
Because it's so hard to avoid him. I don't even think it's possible to avoid getting hit at least once in that fight.
Place you could sort of soft lock yourself. So yeah,
because that's right after the fucking bit where you have to take the inexplicably encased in a crystal ball key card and put it under that crushing thing. That fucked me over millions of times as well.
I wouldn't have figured that out on my own. No chance.
Yeah, like because I would do that okay, then get to the Steve fight, not being able to save, and fuck it up and then have to do the crystal ball thing again and then fuck that up. And I just got so upset with that middle part of, well, not that middle part, but that specific part, even if it is Steve's wonderful send-off.
Yeah.
Mate. We'll be talking about him in a minute.
This whole bit about with his dad, I assume we're going to get to that. So good.
Yeah, we're just going to talk about Steve exclusively in a few minutes because he's so good. I got a couple of weird like gameplay things I learned by watching a speed run. First of all, the knife apparently in Code Veronica is the most powerful in all of Resident Evil because it does damage for every. Yeah. Which I'm assuming you barely ever used.
Well, I was about to say, because what's interesting is I was actually going to say, well, and I'll probably say it again in the next podcast, the Resident Evil 4 knife is probably the first knife that I am making active.
Well, because you don't have to equip it. That's why.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Interesting. It's the most powerful knife.
Yeah, so it does damage basically for every frame it makes contact with an enemy rather than a set amount of damage per one swipe. So speedrunners will have the knife out time early game and try and manipulate it so they're hitting them like if it's per swipe or whatever, and it can really fuck stuff up. Interesting as well, when you do the Nosferatu, you know, the one with who is Nosferatu? Oh, it's their dad, isn't it?
Yes,
dad. There's 3 different versions of that end sequence.
So not a movie called Nosferatu and he's a vampire.
Yeah, it's just come out.
That's what kept confusing me. I was like, is Nosferatu not a vampire?
I'm not sure why he was called that. I think that was just what they nicknamed him, wasn't it? Because he was stuck in the dungeon, and there's in some diary, it's like, oh yeah, Nosferatu. I also found actually on a little segue talking about diaries. There's apparently I don't remember where this is, but there's like, I think what's it called? LIJ or something? It's like lame inside joke or something like that. And there's like a diary, like a red diary somewhere in this game, and it will basically like tell you that it's been effectively been watching you play the game, and it will talk about the stuff that you've done in the game up to that point, and then, you know, Claire had to avoid this, and it was crazy. And it turns out from people going back and like finding those, like looking carefully at those sequences of the game, every time there's like a little cutscene or whatever in what it's talking about, you could actually see it in the corner of the screen. You know, when you go, I can't remember where it is. I think it's in like the secret room in the palace. Right. It's the mouse who wrote the diary.
Little bastard.
Because that mouse is in like loads of the cutscenes, kind of hiding around like you.
Yeah, I love that. I didn't know that specifically. I knew there was a sort of character that was a mouse that was meant to be like this hyper intelligent thing, and apparently he escaped.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Nice.
Out of the place. So he's I think in terms of Resident Evil lore, he's still going somewhere.
Excellent.
Well,
I need to read up on this mouse more now.
Yeah. Mice lived like 2 years, so he's probably dead in the more modern ones. But yeah, he was running about having a good time.
He didn't make it to village. Poor guy. You know the graveyard bit, right at the beginning where you come out of the little prison and then you're in the graveyard, and you were like talking about shooting all those zombies to get them out of the way, and are they going to come back? They do always respawn, and I wish I'd known that before I told you to to do it. Like, yeah, just shoot them all, they won't come back, and they will always come back every time.
This game was a bit hit or miss with stuff that came back. Sometimes things came back, sometimes things didn't. Because what would have been fun and interesting is if like the stuff that you killed as Jill when Chris came back, like they were gone, or like her killing enemies had done something would have been interesting. I'm not.
I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind like respawning enemies for progression reasons if that kind of makes sense. But yeah, just like having it so that every time you walk into a place, their zombies are going to come back. That's not really how Resident Evil does things.
Well, could have even done the Resident Evil thing. You know, you get Resident Evil enemies, and is it 2 that get the red eyes that will sort of reanimate?
Oh, that's the remake of 1.
Yeah, burn them. You could have had something to do with that, and this game would have been interesting. I think it would have been probably doable.
Yeah, that's a genius idea, that one, to just kind of like make past areas still unsafe, even though you've cleared it before. So good. The last little bit that I learned is that this one has the smallest. So Code Veronica has a decrease in speed when you're in caution versus all the original quadrilogy of games.
What, the movement speed?
Yeah, according to them, it's small enough that if you don't bother to heal out of caution, Sorry, they don't bother to heal out of when being in caution because that would take more time than just ignoring it, than the running speed decrease, because it's like it lowers your turning speed by like 3 to 4% and your running speed by only 2%. Whereas in some games they are properly like limping about.
Ah, right, okay, yeah.
Whereas this one they're basically still running, which I guess is why you can do that Steve fight. Okay,
yeah,
because you're still, even if he hits you once, you're still kind of running at the same speed, minus only like 2%. Are you aware of the infinite health glitch that you can do? I kind of, obviously you weren't while you were playing it, because otherwise I'd have told you to do it. I don't believe this is in the original, but it's only in Code Veronica X. So in the speedrun that I watched, they used this glitch to give themselves like shitloads of explosive arrows, which is quite funny. But basically what you do is, in Code Veronica X, you have a playing manual in your inventory right at the beginning. Now you actually did this the way that does the glitch without realizing it. But what you have to do is, if you've got three inventory slots, you keep the playing manual in slot 1. In slot 2 you have a gun that is equipped, and in 3 you have a herb. What you then do is you go into the file menu and read the play manual from there, not in the way that you do it like from your inventory. So you don't do it via your inventory. You come out of the inventory, go to the files, read the playing manual, or at least open it. What that does then is it equips your herb, because it pushes everything, because the manual disappears, it then pushes everything along one slot in your inventory. So what it does is it pushes the manual away, it pushes the gun into the first slot, and then the herb gets pushed into the previous gun slot, which was equipped. So you equip the herb. What you then do, you still got the gun in her hand. So what you do is pause, shoot the gun, go back into the inventory. You can use the herb, and it will never go away.
Amazing.
You can even give it to Chris, and he can use it, and it'll do the exact same thing.
Yes.
Never breaks. So people just sort of do that now because it's like, well, this game's fun, so I'm just gonna do that. But they did the glitch with that in the speedrun I watched, where they used like their playing manual, and then they had like the bolt gun equipped, and then they had explosive arrows. So when they did it, they basically, their explosive arrow count was actually their normal arrow count. So they had like 80 bowgun arrows, but they then turned into 80 explosive arrows. And he was just walking through, just melting everybody.
Yeah,
it's a really fun watch. Yeah, that's proper sick. You got any more thoughts on the gameplay? Do you think it plays significantly better than the originals, or is it the same? Or
feels like it feels large to me. It feels largely the same.
Yeah.
I would say like there's something that I'm constantly aware of when we talk about the Resident Evil games, and that you speak about how like tank controls in a game are like this comforting.
Yes.
I don't know, almost like a comfort blanket that you sort of put on, and you just sort of slot into it. I obviously lack the nostalgia for the tank controls. However, I will say that we've played enough of these games now that it does sort of every summer. When I started playing this game, it felt like a bit like a homecoming. I was just like, oh, it's nice to be back. Here we are.
Were you sort of walking around in a tank manner in your house to prepare in the like late spring?
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you stopping and then turning 90 degrees all the time? You don't understand. It's summer of Resi.
Yeah, I've been having a great time with it. And I've gone from like tank controls being something that I've had to sort of suffer through to now it's just part of the game. And it just genuinely doesn't upset me in any way whatsoever. No, it's great.
I feel like real ones can dodge a room of zombies with tank controls. That's when you're a real one.
That's when you.
It's just you feel like you're performing miracles with this like archaic tech. Like if I was playing a game now, I would easily be able to run. Like I watched you do on Resi 4 the other day, even though that is also tank. It just feels so good when you weave in and out properly, especially in this game where the zombies can just turn and grab you in 90 degrees, top of a hat. Yeah, but as you say, I love dropping back into these classic Resis. Sadly, this is the last one really that we're going to be doing, unless we just replay it again, which would be pointless.
Well, we need to figure out what we're going to do, because there are plenty of Resident Evil games to go.
Yeah, I think you did text me about that, and I responded, but I don't think you actually gave me your thoughts on what I said. But I think
I need to actually sit and look at what they are.
Revelations 1 and 2, really, and then Dino Crisis 2, maybe.
They become different. They become different things, don't they? So yeah, we're at an interesting crossroads to the. To be honest, I'm up. Depending, I think we just need to have a chat about it because I'm sort of up for either thing, like sort of calling it maybe doing, I don't know, like one more and then calling it, or just continuing to plug on through. But then there's some of them that just won't be fun. And we're
running out of fun at this point.
Yeah, some that will just be not entertaining to play. So I don't know.
Unless it's like, let's play the Resident Evil 2 on the N64 this time.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad that I get to watch you play a lot of these. That's probably more than half of the fun for me, because I love playing them, but you said earlier, like, you know, having me sort of Sherpa you through it via the chat on Twitch. I'm playing the role of Chris that I had when I was growing up.
Passing on the baton.
He sat and played through. I mean, I don't think till Resi 4 I played any of the Resident Evil games without being with him as I played it first. Even if I got it new, I'd be like, Chris, come and play this with me. So he would never play it. For some reason, he knew them like the back of his hand, but he never wanted to touch the controller. It was really weird. He always made me do it.
Odd. Because he doesn't want to play the new ones either, right? Is he just
he's an absolute wiener now.
He's too scared of them all.
Yeah, he's too scared of them. I mean, yeah. He's probably trying to stop his heart going pop or something. I don't know. Right, Steve Burnside.
Big old Burnside.
I was trying to find. I swear I wrote an article about. I only wrote for an issue of Sega Force Mega that never actually got released, but I wrote like a sort of a love piece about how much I love Steve. There's just so many great quotes.
He's pathetically endearing.
I agree.
He's such a loser, but he's. Yeah, you do kind of quite like him by the end, right?
I mean, I don't know. I genuinely don't know what the majority of the Resident Evil fandom actually think. Yeah, whether they find him ironically funny like we do, or whether they're just annoying. But I mean, everything he does is just so stupid. But except the times when he's an absolute badass, like when he breaks through the glass and he kicks the shit out of that Bandersnatch and unloads all over him with his gun. Even like at the beginning where he shoots Claire out of a window, and then she shoots back. He shoots you, and then he puts a spotlight on you, and then she shoots back, and he's like, "Don't shoot! Like, you shot me, you prick!" Like, fair's fair.
I'm trying to skim. Do we know why he's imprisoned?
It's something to do with his dad, I think.
So I'll give you a quick run through.
Get his wiki page open. You can tell me why he was in prison. Oh, okay.
Steve and his father are imprisoned in Rockfort Island prison until it was taken over by the HCF during the course of his escape. Steve and his father became separated. However, Steve managed to survive the zombie onslaught caused by the sudden outbreak of the experiment.
How that Helen managed to survive it, I do not know.
Absolutely no clue. Sometime later, Steve met Claire after attacking her on the presumption that she was a zombie. However, Claire saw the light that he shined on her and defended herself. This sounds like one of these video game
fan fictions
that we used to read. These actions caused Steve to realise his error and cordially met her face to face.
Cordially get a fucking erection for the rest of the game.
Steve left Claire in order to procure an airplane to escape the island. The island. Maybe he was trying to get out of Ireland as well. When Steve was found again in the monitoring room, which was the room after the 3D auto duplicator, this is nonsense. He was looking up information on Chris Redfield when Claire asked him what he was doing there. Steve asked Claire if Chris was her relative. Claire asked him, this is just going through the cutscenes, if he meant her brother. Yeah. Steve has realised that in fact they are siblings. He tapped on the lever that released the lock in the door, saying, "Well, it seemed that your brother was under surveillance by Umbrella." After Claire's emailed Leo, just sending emails Yeah, blah blah blah.
Sending Leon an email.
Yeah, he just said,
That's so
I
good.
forgot that happened.
I forgot that as well. They were loving it. 3D printers, email technology,
Emails,
beautiful.
Yeah. This is all just explaining what he did.
Is that the bit where Steve says like, "Oh, you'll just be disappointed if you rely on others."
Yeah.
I know. Believe me, I
he
know.
just turns around
And then
and goes,
later, he turns around to Claire and goes, "You see, you can depend on me." It's like you're the one telling me not to depend on others.
Just absolutely undermined.
Fucking hell, Steve. No wonder your dad left you.
He's a very
For a
confused
bit.
lad.
He is deeply troubled. He's got some unresolved father issues that he let come flying out of his Uzis straight into his dad's face.
Oh, I need to. Right, there's a sentence here that says after coming to grips with what he did, and I want to know what he's coming to grips with. So I'm going to
shooting his dad.
Well. There's a whole
shooting his
paragraph.
dad.
Yeah,
but that's shooting his dad.
Steve shot his infected father down. This is so amazingly written. Yeah, Steve shot his infected father down just as he was about to bite Claire. However, in shooting his father, Steve completely depleted the ammunition loaded into his submachine guns. So after he comes,
that is dangerously phallic. That is.
Is he come? Yeah, that is. You're right. So the next sentence in this wiki is after coming to grips with what he did. Is he come to grips with shooting his dad, or is he come to grips with completely depleting the ammunition,
wasting his ammo?
Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't have been helped by the fact that just before that, when she starts talking about his dad to him, he goes, "Shut up! I don't want to talk about it," and then shoots all his ammo.
This Wikipedia is written amazingly. Like, listen to this. So, after coming to grips with what he did, full stop. Steve told Claire about he and his father.
I love that bit when he's having like reflective bit.
Came to be on the island, full stop. Afterward, Claire left Steve alone to continue coming to grips with his loss. I thought he had already come to grips with it.
He's in the process thereof. I love if you go up to his dad as well, and you like press the action button and it just says Steve's father. He is obviously dead. He was half dead before. He's very dead now. And even when you get on the plane, he's like, "We made it, yahoo!"
Yeah.
Like, who says yahoo? Especially to a girl you're trying to impress. What are you doing?
When is he just staring at her arse in Antarctica?
That's when he's trying to do the drill thing, isn't it? And he totally fucks it and then drills through a gas tank. Yeah. Again, quite phallic. He was wanting to drill through a different gas tank, but he did the wrong one. Staring at her arse. What a lad.
Endless phallic references happening here.
Yeah, I also love when he gets bitch slapped by Nosferatu. He like bitch slaps him off that helicopter landing pad. And then he has to like hold on to that thing for the entirety of the fight. And when Claire goes back to him, he's just kind of like sulking while hanging for his life. Actually, speaking of that one where you have the sniper rifle fight, fucking really annoying because of all that purple shit he chucks at you. There's 3 endings to that, right? There's one where if you just shoot him with normal guns, he just dies. I think you and I both got the sniper rifle one when she's like, "I got you now," and it does that super badass sniper shot. If you finish him off with a knife, she fucking stabs him straight in the heart.
Oh my god!
It's fucking awesome. And then she's like holding the knife and goes, "Oh, Steve, shit!" That's great.
That's a boss fight that I feel like I got fortunate with. Like that felt like that boss fight had the potential to be a pain in the arsehole, but it just I just nailed it, and I was like, I am moving on swiftly from this.
Yeah, I used my last sniper bullet to fight that, and I hadn't brought any other guns because I was so desperate to leave everything to Chris. I thought, if I miss this 7th shot, I am done. Actually, let's talk about the guns. That was the next lot of stuff I had to talk about.
Okay, what have we got?
Well, we've got the bow gun. Is it the bolt gun? The bolt gun?
Well, it's like a crossbow. Is that what we're talking about? That thing?
Yeah, probably the worst gun in Resident Evil history.
The worst gun in video game history, perhaps.
Yeah.
That is an utterly pointless weapon unless you've got explosive rounds.
Yeah, it is. It's like 30 shots to kill a zombie. It's so shit.
Is it like a joke weapon? Like, is it like
I don't know.
Dark Souls? You know, like how they in Dark Souls 3. Is it Dark Souls 3? They give you a sword. They give you a shield that does nothing.
Oh yeah, maybe. Get the wiki. You've got the wiki up. Have a look.
It's Bloodborne. They give you a shield that does absolutely nothing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because why would you want that when you've got a load of blunderbusses instead? Yeah, have a look. Check on the wiki for the. I think it's called the bolt gun, not the bow gun, because I think the bow gun's in a different game.
Yeah, okay.
See if it is some kind of joke weapon or what. If there's any lore around why it's so terribly, terribly terrible.
Oh yeah, we've got more than 6 weapons in the game.
You got what? You got the pistol, one each. You got the
Gold
shotgun,
bowgun, linear launcher, magnum, Chris's
Magnum, yeah.
handgun, shotgun, M100P, and Claire's handgun.
No, because there's 2 lots of SMGs and there's an AK-47.
Yeah, there's a sniper rifle down here as well and stuff like that. Okay, I found the bowgun. What's it got to say for itself?
Is it bow or bolt? What is it called?
Bow.
Oh, right, okay.
It doesn't have much to say about it. So it can be found in the preparation room of the military training center, sitting along the pass number memo file next to the laptop. Chris can also obtain both of these in the northern corridor if Claire skipped it. In the very easy difficulty available in the Japanese versions of the game, the weapon can be found in the item box by default. That's not help. That's not a help to anyone. Like the grenade launcher, the bowgun can carry nearly unlimited amounts of ammunition of a single type, although weaker than a handgun.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. Often forcing the player to fire over a dozen bolts to down a single zombie. The bowgun is much faster due to the near total lack of recoil and has a near unlimited range.
It does. It's funny when you shoot something far away and you see the bolts kind of like floating through the air for the auto aim to kick it.
The bowgun's most useful attribute is its ability to carry special explosive bolts comparable to an average grenade round in power, but without the arc of fire that so drastically reduces their range. These bolts are fired with the same speed as regular bolts and are devastating when launched en masse. So this,
they are. That's how you do the plane boss, really.
It seems to be trying to sell it as a decent gun. So basically, if you've got a big open area and the zombies are way downtown, maybe whip the bow.
That's kind of when I used it. Yeah, I tried to save some handgun ammo.
Yeah, that's probably wise.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't struggle really for ammo, certainly from your handgun. I love when you get the 3-round burst on it. And I didn't realize as well, because I kind of knew that's what it was going to do. I was like holding the trigger down to get the 3-round burst. But when you first unlocked that, you were proper spamming the trigger and firing like rapid single shots. I copied you playthrough.
Yeah, I did.
I was like, David's way was way better.
I accidentally stumbled across a good way to play the game.
Yeah, her gun's way better than Chris's when you upgrade his. I don't even know what his does.
No.
For an upgrade. It doesn't really seem to change its look or feel. It's just apparently more powerful.
We've probably touched on this before, but in terms of weapons, one thing that, I don't know, is both exciting and a bit of a shame, really, is the sort of use of magnums in Resident Evil. Like, I feel like you're just
you've always got a problem with not using the magnum and then never using it because you save it too long.
You just hoard it, and you end up hoarding it until like the final boss fight, and it ends up just ripping the final boss an absolute new one, or you just don't use it. And I'm just like, it's like, I feel like getting a magnum in a Resident Evil game is such a big moment. Like, yes, I've got the magnum, and then you just
totally.
I'll keep it in my pocket for ages and not use it.
Yeah, bang on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you actually have it for the final boss in the end? I don't know if you did you? What was it you didn't have? Did you? Because you had run out of something. Because I think on the final boss I used the AK-47. I left it. Or did I?
Oh,
yeah, I think I did.
There was something I gave to Claire, and then I realised that she had it. In Kristen.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember what that was. Maybe the shot. Was it maybe the shotgun? I didn't have a shotgun, or is it the other way around? There's something. Yeah, you're right. There's something I didn't have, but I can't remember what it was. But it's because I'd given it to the other character.
Yeah, I definitely used the AK-47 on that worm, the gulp worm. That was a fun fight because I absolutely just twatted him.
Oh yeah, the gulp worm.
You had to use the. Yeah, you used the grenade rounds, I think, if I remember rightly. That's so funny how that is just an annoyance in the ground.
It's such a non-sequitur. Like, no one really mentions it or speaks about it. Like, I don't remember the characters that you're playing as really talk about it. There's just this worm from the movie Dune, just absolutely
Shia LaBeouf,
yeah, tearing about this island, Rockford Island, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, but you don't. I mean, that's Claire.
Tiny area.
It's just basically a giant molehill that kind of slides along the ground every time you walk out the door. Oh fuck!
It's
even got to the point.
Small area that it lives in, though, as well. It's like, I don't know, like a kid keeping a.
Can't you tunnel under the gates, mate? I mean, you don't have to stay in here. You could probably tunnel. Yeah, because there's dogs out there for a bit, and then the worm. Yeah, out of absolutely nowhere.
Knocking the mansion down, but absolutely not. It's just behaving itself.
Yeah. Of course, in another example of terrible parenting from me, Cassie walked in on me playing this quite a few times, and there'll be a number of times where she'd come back and ask me later on, is the worm there still? Is the worm still there?
About Steve and his weird sexual.
No. But she did hilariously the other day, right? Well, we first started. She obviously watched me shoot some zombies at some point, and then. Probably in one of her many daily attempts to avoid having to go for a bath or to bed, she decided she wanted to play zombies with me. So she came up to me, she's like, "Oh, I'm a zombie," and then I had to shoot her. And then she actually was making, I don't know where this came from, but she was making pew pew noises, right, for a gun. I never taught her that. And then the other day, I was playing what game was I playing? Oh, it was Resi 4. She came in on me playing Resi 4, and she goes, "Oh, that man, has he got a pewer?" It's like, a pewer? Oh, a gun!
You're like, oh, God.
Where are you getting this from?
A pewer.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not a boys only thing. Little girls can be can have pretend gunfights all they want at the age of 3.5 if they've watched me play Code Veronica.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was at CrossFit today, there was two kids sitting there, like sitting in the corner while their parents were doing their workout, like absolutely like glued to their Switch. And I was like, oh, I'm about to be accidentally sexist here, but I don't know, take it in the innocent notional notice that it's intended. Like, it's just this girl just absolutely glued to playing what I think was Lego Harry Potter. I thought, but then it was wrapped up in I just found it really interesting that a young girl was absolutely glued to her Switch, and then there was a boy playing a first-person shooter, and I was like, what? As I was walking to the toilet, I was like, what is he playing? Fairly sure it was Roblox. But the funny thing that like just popped up as he was playing it is he was like playing it on a tablet, not on a Switch. So he was doing the whole first person thing that kids seem to be able to do first person on screens fairly easily. Just doesn't
fair play to him, yeah.
What I found really funny though is he was playing it and adverts just kept popping up, and he had to keep like stopping what he was doing to close the adverts. I'm like, that game sucks, dude. Like, just go and play. Yeah. I could show you some games. Alex has got some zombies he could show you how to shoot.
Yeah, I could get you a pure and you'll be off. No bother, mate. No bother. Oh man, yeah. I remember the first time I noticed that Cassie was able to swipe adverts away on her phone. Christ, she's learning. This is scary. And that was young. God, I sound like such a terrible dad. I'm not, though.
Tell me about linear. Do you know anything about the linear launcher? Why is it called the linear launcher?
I don't know.
What's the alliteration about?
I have no idea. It just probably sounded fun. Does it shoot a line? Yeah, maybe.
It's just in a line like all bullets do. Like, this is not that movie where they can shoot around corners.
It's not Wanted or whatever it was. Bending bullets, bending like Beckham. Yeah, that I think because I think you and I both got away with taking the shot and hitting it the first time. But again, back in the day when I was playing this with Chris, I remember multiple times I would miss that shot. And then I think you have to put it back and wait for it to sort of regenerate and then deal with her tentacles shit for ages again. So he'd have to take over and be like finally accepting the pad passing and would just shoot her with the linear launcher in one go. But I was very surprised I got it going this game. That's just because of history of me being terrible at that shot and actually pulling it off and being delighted.
Glad I got it. Yeah, I feel like that just saved my ass. I was getting that's the second form, isn't it? And the first form is awful.
It's so shit.
It's one of the things, like, I just find it deeply frustrating in video games where like you're walking around and someone's like, you're walking about and something will like make you like, it'll just like make you stop and go like hurt you in some way. And that whole boss is just these little scurrying things. Just
stun locking you. She starts looking at them, and then but you don't want to be shooting them. You want to shoot the boss. There's also that bit, the bit where there's like I think you're playing as Chris. It must be in the Antarctic, I think, where you're. There's all those little like bugs on the floor that just hurt him a little bit. That's where one of the wings is.
It's like there's like a beehive, and just
well, it kind of looks like those things that they strip a kebab off of in a kebab shop.
Yeah,
like a big chicken leg. But yeah, it's just like as he's walking around the whole time, like, but you're not getting hurt. What is? There are bugs on the floor. What's wrong with you? Think you're going to take on fucking Cat's Eyes Wesker with an attitude like that? Shape up, mate. Well, I mean, we've talked about the Magnum. Fuck the fact that you can just miss it for the empty extinguisher like I did. I cannot remember where I got the AK-47 from because I kept talking about you getting it. You didn't get it, and I must have led you astray or not told you where it was correctly. And then when I did the Dreamcast version, I couldn't either. Can't remember where it goes or where you get it from, but it's great. It's a great weapon.
Of times, like you'd be like sherping me through, and then I don't know, you get like a call at work or something, and have to go away, and then by the time you get back, I had just like wandered off and done something completely different and missed something. Yeah, there's a couple of times I did that.
Yeah, that was funny. What about Alfred and Alexia? How do you feel? How do you feel about them /him /her /whatever it is?
I mean, Alfred is Oh no, this is the twins we're talking about. We're not talking about Wesker, are we?
No, sorry, not Albert.
Not Albert. That's why I was getting confused.
And I swear that Alfred calls himself Alfred the first time you see him. I am Alfred Ashford. No, it's not what your name is, mate.
They're very weird, dude. They're very weird.
That first video where they like pull the wings off that thing and then they both stare at each other, and then it finishes on Alexia like staring at the screen with like crazed look at her eyes,
putting a wig and stuff on. Is he pretending to be his sister who's frozen in Antarctica?
Yeah, because he misses her so much. Well, what fucks me off there though is there's a scene when you can actually see her as him as Alexia in the room, and he's like doing both the voices to himself. But he's not moving his mouth when he's doing Alexia's voice. Or Alfred's voice, sorry.
He's a ventriloquist, is he?
Oh, yeah. So he's dressed as Alexia. He's talking to Alfred, but he's not moving his mouth when Alfred's talking, even though that is him still. That annoys me. Unless, as you say,
they put a doll in there, and he was just like speaking to the doll. I would love that.
Yeah. Or just speaking to some wings that he's pulled off of something else.
Yeah, that I don't understand what is going on with that video. They're just like
so fucked up, but hilariously so.
Yeah, there's sexual tension between them.
That's the weird bit.
It's so odd. The sexual tension of pulling wings off of bugs. I don't get it. I don't get it.
How did they make that in any way a sexual thing? But they somehow did. And then, of course, later on, she's naked and just like stroking his head, and you wondered if she was breastfeeding him. She might have been. I don't know. I love that they're in this game. I love that it's absolutely mental. I don't love the fact that, as we discussed while you were playing it, that probably means we'll never get a proper remake of this, because how will they do that in 2025?
2025, they cannot.
I mean, it's just a riff on Psycho, dressing up as his sister because he's gone mental. It's not because he's got he's gender fluid or he's confused. It's nothing to do with sex or gender, really. It's just he's fucking mental and is pretending to be his sister who's been locked away for 15 years. Maybe there's something sexual going on between the two of them, but it's not related to why he's dressed up as him.
It's yeah. It's
whatever.
Also like, I guess in hindsight, I suppose now, I don't know how you ever would have picked it up in the first place, but in hindsight, there are clues. Like their rooms are sort of mirror images of each other. And then there's the bedroom, there's that stone thing that we spoke about earlier, that's a door that is the same person that turns as you use the door. I guess that's a nod to it. But they're weirdly immature as well. Like they've got they've got the dolls. You go upstairs, they've got the carousel. Like they're weirdly childlike as well in a way that really confused me.
Yeah, because it's like she's been frozen for 15 years, but she's an adult. So I'm assuming that you grow while cryogenically frozen. You don't, do you?
Well, he seemed to be about the same age as her, didn't he? So
yeah,
that's weird.
And I also hope that all this talk of her unmatched beauty was not actually referring to the parts where he was dressed up as her.
Well, I hope it was.
Yeah, actually, so do I. anyone who's observed her has actually been looking at Alfred in a dress.
In a dress with
Unmatched beauty. I also love his commitment to the bit. Like, even after you've shot him, he's falling down that thing and he's walking back to his plane. He's still doing her voice. No one's there to listen to it. Just doing it on his own.
I assume he's just been on his own for a while.
Method. Yeah. True.
Yeah, that is the probably in some of the more modern Resident Evil games, there are some incredibly unsettling villains. Like the guy, like at the start when you're like tied to that chair, and the guy's like that guy that chases you around his house, and then there's like
Jack,
and Lady Dimitrescu, which is becoming quickly iconic. These guys, this dude is as unsettling, but in a completely different way.
Yeah, you've not really.
At least you know what you're getting with those other two.
Yeah, I haven't obviously watched you play much today, but I don't think you've got through Resident Evil 4 far enough to see Salazar and how he is in the game and how camp he is. But he is definitely like a byproduct of the nonsense that these two.
I don't think so. So I'm about to
pull off in this game.
I'm about to do the Undertaker fight.
Oh, in the barn, yeah.
Okay. Barn.
Yeah, no, yeah, you'll be seeing him soon enough then.
I actually started that fight.
Talk about him next episode, obviously.
I actually started that fight and did the usual and missed the QTE. So I died. So I was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm off.
It loves a cheeky one of them.
Yeah.
Just don't put your controller down in that game ever. Ridiculous. Talk about, it's just kind of like just vibing now, isn't it?
I guess like
I want to say I hate the moths in Antarctica. They could get fucked. They are the worst enemies ever.
They're nasty, and they're only in that one spot as well.
Yeah. Eventually, I did start like coming through that door and then shooting them before I tried to make progress. But previously, I was trying to run past them. Like 3 of them would lay an egg on Claire's back. I'd walk out the room, go round in circles till they're hatched, try and then go back to the blue herbs, but that's in the moth room, and the moth would get me on the way to get the blue herbs, and I'm way away from the blue herbs. And I'd have to go repeat the room like 6 times to actually get back to a neutral state. It was so annoying.
It's weird that
thank the good dude they're frozen when you go back as Chris, for fuck's sake.
I find odd is that they're only in that one room, and then when you go back to that one room as Chris, it's just like the game's like, nah, we're done with those. I don't understand why they're just sort of a come and go character.
Just some zombies here, mate, innit?
It's weirdly like Nintendo EAD, like making a new Mario level. Like, it's this new enemy we're going to throw at you and then just never deal with it again.
Yeah. It's very,
I'm
very
not complaining
much the
because
case.
they're sons of bitches.
No, honestly, they're the worst thing they've ever put in.
They'll throw that albinid thing at you like 4 times.
That twat who's just in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
And you just stand at the edge. Honestly, what was that? Who thought that was a good thing? Because they give it all the big billing, don't they? You even got a little thing to read about, like watch a film about them. Yeah.
It's what I imagine, like Aquaman. I've never seen an Aquaman movie or like read an Aquaman comic, but it's just what I imagine would it be. He's just like stuck in a swimming pool while everything is
Isn't that like
around him.
Yeah, that's like that old Family Guy sketch, isn't it? Where they're like,
is it? Oh yeah,
he's in the sea, and they're like, "Come and help us, Aquaman." He's like, "Could you come in the sea? I'll help you then." I've just been looking through the manual of the Dreamcast version. I just wanted to read the Steve Burnside bit because let's read about you got to read about your heroes. Though young and often reckless, Steve is a good-hearted kid. He was captured with his father and held in an umbrella prison on an isolated island. He has bad feelings towards his family, though exactly why is a mystery. During a prison raid by an unknown organisation, he escaped in the chaos. Steve now meets up with Claire and their adventure begins. I love that. He has bad feelings towards his family, though exactly why is a mystery. Yeah. You made the game.
We don't know.
We never really find out why he's got a problem. He does kind of like just have a go at his dad, doesn't he, when he's killed him and he's sitting there reflecting, just looking into his lap.
Yeah, I think
he gets over it pretty quick.
I think there's something in that puzzle that we sort of briefly mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah, go into that again. Yeah,
I think there's something when you read the bits like that, and then there's some. I'm not getting the specifics right, but there's something in that, and then something in the like the sort of bits and pieces that you pick up on paper around the place. I think his dad basically like nosedived the family fortunes, and they're like,
Oh, he does say something about
and they're sort of the leftovers after he died, and I don't know, gave a teacup to a butler or something. It seems to be what was going on with that. And there's something.
Oh yeah, that's Alfred's. That's Alfred's family, though, isn't it? It's his dad that lost all their money and they put in a dungeon. But I don't know what Steve's dad did.
They're not related. In my head, they were related. See, I think I've got. Oh no, one's Ashford and one's Wesker.
Yeah. I think his dad must have just worked for Umbrella or something.
Yeah, you might be right.
But then, Alfred's dad is.
But then there's
the one that they lock in the thing.
Oswald Spencer's Earl Spencer's in this as well.
He's mentioned, isn't he? As he must have known one of them. Probably not Veronica, because she's obviously way, way back.
She's too.
Because that's obviously I always get the bit in that puzzle where it's two sons. I kept getting that bit wrong. I couldn't get the two sons the right way around.
Oh yeah, I just guessed because I was like, I don't know how you're meant to know this, and then I was like, oh, I'll just guess, and then I guessed it right. It was like, yeah, I couldn't do it again.
I don't understand why they keep banging on about some bloody cup, and then one of the sons has got a plate. Like, you didn't tell me about a fucking plate. You got to play fair with your puzzles, because there's not actually that many puzzles in this game, is there? Really?
No, not many.
In terms of like that kind of puzzle,
yeah.
Because some of them are just utter bullshit. There's one where I think it's the carousel bit. You just pick up the dragonfly key and then you just put it in the wall right in front of you. There's the one where you take the sword and you stick it in that Iron Maiden, and then the gas comes out, and then the thing rises up from the floor. Push it in a half circle, and you're done. I also love. I think I said to you at the time, I love when that zombie comes out of that Iron Maiden and he's still got the sword sticking out of his back before you kill him. That's a great touch.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Speaking of great touches, I don't know why, but I fucking love the replica Spencer Mansion parts. I don't know why they're in the game.
I don't know why they're there either.
That cool.
Reminded us, only beaten by that Zelda that people don't like. That's actually
Wind Waker.
Yeah, when you discover the whole Hyrule Kingdom. Like
frozen. Yeah.
I don't know why it's in there either, but it's just like, it's cool. You're like, you go and you're, oh, this is amazing, and then you actually start logicaling it out, and then you're just, oh, this makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I guess again that must have something to do with, and we're probably going to sound really stupid and ignorant to like hardcore fans, but yeah, I guess the link between Spencer and the Ashford family is probably maybe he did some kind of like,
well, Ashford.
This is what my mansion's going to look like.
What's the guy that made remember the guy that got killed in either Resident Evil 1 or 2 that made the mansion? Is he in Ashford? The guy that designed there was a guy that designed
old trap maker man who was renowned for his traps.
Yeah, so
no, I don't think so.
The person that knew the traps was him. So the Spencer who owned the mansion, right? He killed him so that nobody knew the answer to the traps.
Yeah, because he got stuck in a door, couldn't he? He couldn't get out or something.
Yeah, and then
you just find him.
Yeah, he was writing like
decayed.
Danny Entry, and he suddenly realised that he had been stuck in there deliberately.
Yeah, I don't think that was an Ashford. No, I can't remember what that guy's name was though. But you might as well just have a fucking Google it.
I'm having a quick skim through the Ashford family tree.
Oh yeah, go on.
I'm not finding much.
My God, they're all written in there.
Oh fuck! So, unknown parent in Veronica gave birth to Stanley, Alexia, and Alfred, modified clone. Wait, is that Alfred Wesker? It just says Alfred, but there's no.
No, it's Albert Wesker.
Oh fuck's sake! I'm going to keep doing that. Oh, so Alexia and Alfred are clones. I didn't realise that.
What?
Yeah. That's why they're weird.
What?
There's someone called Stanley Ashford who gave birth, or who fathered Thomas and Arthur Ashford.
Oh, yeah.
Arthur gave birth to Edward and then Alexander. Who's Alexander?
That's their dad.
Alexander Ashford.
That's Alexia. That's Alfred's dad.
But
Yeah, so Alexia, she is a member of British nobility coming from the Ashford family, the adopted daughter of Alexander Ashford. Her real patronage was the result of a cloning experiment referred to as Project Code Veronica, and was biologically the daughter of Veronica. Fuck me, I must have totally ignored that.
Yeah, no, I've missed that as well, because you're talking about Alexander, but there's no link to Alexander and Alexia, Alexia and Alfred on this family tree.
Yeah, so her
Veronica.
Her granddad, Edward Ashford, who was the fifth Ashford, he was the one who worked at Umbrella, co-founded Umbrella.
With Oswald?
I guess so, yeah.
Right, okay. Because I'm also sort of remembering, was it Resi 7? There's like an attic, if you can walk around reading the stuff, and it's like Oswald had been on like a... That's like how they like connect the witches and stuff. Is it 7 or 8 that's got that? And how they basically tried... Yeah, okay.
So Alfred's not a real kid either.
No.
He's the son of Veronica Ashford as well, born through genetic engineering along with his sister Alexia.
Yes.
Legally, however, the two were the children of the geneticist Alexander Ashford.
Yeah.
Who was the final governor of Rockfort Island.
However, like Veronica, in terms of relations to Alexander, is 1, 2, 3, 4 generations back.
Yeah, that's right. She was obviously the progenitor to whatever it was, and then they all wanted to clone her. This is why I think people say that the game is like really important for the plot, but you and I it's
bafflingly complex for a game that is so camp and schlocky. It is I was going to say bafflingly complex, but it's not. It's just mega Japanese. And then she got frozen. So, I mean, there is an argument that you can make that the Alexia in Antarctica and the Alexia that Alfred is pretending to be are different Alexias. There could be multiple clones.
Yeah, because apparently Alexander, their dad, discovered the gene that regulated and he tried to use that to clone the kids with the increased intelligence.
Oh my god!
To resurrect Veronica.
And why did they make clones?
What's the point of Veronica though? Why is she so important?
Don't know.
Following Ashford's death, the family line was continued by her son Stanley. In the late 20th century, her remains were examined by Dr. Alexander Ashford and taken for the use in experiment Project Code Veronica. The events that led to the project can be dated to just a few years prior, with the discovery of the progenitor virus by Doctors Oswell E. Spencer, James Marcus. He's the fucking weird vampire, like the goofy guy with the singing and the bats and stuff.
Oh,
not the bats.
Yeah.
The one outside the train. And Edward Ashford.
Oh yeah, it was like singing on the top of the mountain in the rain.
That's the one. So without a virology, he was influenced by phage should die. To maintain Ashford influence in the company, Alexander began planning in 1968 for his father's knowledge. The first phase of the plan was to discover a gene for regulating intelligence, which he did. The second phase was to engineer an augmented clone of late Lady Veronica. He preserved DNA from her crypt at the Ashford's ancestral estate. He achieved both phases in rapid succession, with Alex Ashford being born around 1971. She was to be a genius as a graduate at the age of 10, taking her place in Umbrella as an influential voice. However, there were unforeseen results in this project. Firstly, an anomaly led to a second embryo, Alfred, who, while highly intelligent, was not so gifted. The second result was Alexia's contempt for humankind, caused by her incomparable intelligence. Alexander was later used by Alexia in her experimentations with her own T. Veronica virus, before infecting herself in an attempt to evolve into a more powerful being. And the T. Veronica virus is a strain of the progenitor virus created by Ashford, by Alexia Ashford. So I think the progenitor virus is the very first one that caused the outbreak, isn't it?
Yes.
developed by Spencer, Ashford, and Marcus. And it was the primary host was that species of flower. That's right, because it's from a garden in West Africa, which is you find it in Resi 5.
Yeah, because he goes
It's like a clearing.
Yeah, he goes traveling and basically discovers the witches and stuff, or the old lady.
Oh, that one thing that you find about in Village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he takes that back and thinks that he can sort of science it, which is where all this the flower starts. He takes the flower back.
Yeah. Christ. Yeah. You could go miles into this.
Fall down a hole.
There's so much lore. You don't need us to stumble through it.
Overall,
as we read.
Code Veronica's a decent Resident Evil game, I think.
Yeah, very decent. It's one of my favourites for sure. I think off the top of my head, if we're talking just straight up, like if we ignore all the remakes, mainline Resi, including Zero, I'd probably put it like, I think you kind of have to do remakes because I would think of Resident Evil Remake 1 as being right up there. But if we don't count that, it's probably only Resident Evil 2 and 4 that I prefer over it from the original stuff.
From the original stuff, I've got... So, I'm looking at this list I sent you, and again, this is the problem with lists, is it can change day by day. Like, I've got it sitting number 10 of the 14 Resident Evil games we've played.
Wow, really? 10?
I've got but then if you remove the remakes, so my top 3 are all remakes. Resident Evil 2 would be my favourite if you remove the remakes. Then I've got Village and 7. I don't know if you want to remove those.
No, they would be in there. I'd probably maybe put 7 above it, but not Village. Well, I don't know.
And then I've got Resident Evil. But then, I don't know, after speaking to you, I could sort of go either way with that because I'm not sure I liked it as much as I'd remember that I liked it. And then...
What's that, sorry?
The original Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah.
Then I've got Nemesis above it. And then Code Veronica. I like it better than apparently 3 remake, 0, 5, and 6. Yeah. I mean, like the OG Resident Evil and 3 Nemesis. 3 Nemesis I've kind of fond of.
I really like that too.
OG might...
They're quite close, those two, Veronica and 3.
Yeah. But the problem is it's sitting 10 of 14 on a list of 13 games that I like a lot. So
I find 7 and 8 really hard to place in all of them. That's the things I struggle with.
They're just so different, right? They're vibes, gameplay, because they're first person, and I feel like maybe that's not true because Resident Evil sort of does a lot of horror mansion and stuff like that. But I felt like Resident Evil 7 and 8 specifically, 8 even more so, were just sort of exploring horror tropes, whereas the OG Resident Evils were sort of their own thing with their own world.
I think if I had to just quickly throw
7
out,
and 8 almost feel separate to me. It's like a different, but they're not, obviously.
Yeah, I'd probably go 2 for Veronica, 3, 7, 8, 5. No, sorry, 7, 8, 1, 5, 6.
Yeah. The thing is the problem is, like, it's not a problem. The thing that I find a shame about that list is, like, see if you're playing it co-op, 5's great.
Yeah. Yeah, the list doesn't get to games I don't like until you get to number 6.
Yeah. And we even tried to play 6 for this podcast. We just couldn't do it. But it's on.
I mean, if you want to carry this thing on, we have to do it. We have to try again.
We have to try again. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy this game a lot. It was great. It took me a minute to get into it, but once I did, again, I was just perpetually plagued with the fear that I was going to play myself into a corner, which I apparently almost did, but not the way that I was expecting to. But
I think if you ever go back to play it again, you'd probably have a much better time.
I think so. I think that's my only sort of caveat with this game is I think to play it in 2025, unless you're sort of very familiar with how horror video games used to be, play it with a guide, just so that you don't sort of play yourself into a corner, because realistically you could play 10 hours of this game and find yourself having to start over.
Yeah.
Unless you're an absolute save maniac and can remember what all your saves are.
Yeah, I had like 9 save files, I think, when I was playing it. I had 3 for the Rockfort Island, 3 for Antarctic, and then 3 for Chris. So 3 each. There was 9 save slots, just in case. I'm pretty sure archive.org or whatever it's called these days has the scans of the official like Prima strategy guide, and they are worth looking. Maps really handy, like resources for where everything is. Like it just points arrows at like here's all this shit, and it also tells you like where to start and end up in every phase and stuff. Very good.
A physical version of that.
It ain't cheap, buddy.
No,
it ain't cheap.
It ain't happening.
There's a retro games place that I've been to once called Miso Retro Games because it's in Billericay, and he had a copy of it when I went in there last time. I messaged him through his website and said, "Have you still got a copy of that? I'd really like to see, to get it if you do." And he just completely ignored me.
Means no, I guess.
Yeah, maybe it does mean no. Yeah.
I'm surprised how much I'm just looking at this because I've got the Alfred Ashford Wikipedia entry up, and it's just got like sort of recent images, and it's interesting how iconic an enemy the liquor is in the Resident Evil franchise. And actually, now thinking about it, I've seen comparatively little of it in all the games that we've played.
2 and 5, right?
Yeah, not many. But it is like, to me, in my mind, sort of as a perpetual an on the edges Resident Evil fan, it is the iconic enemy, but it's not in most of the games. Weird. Yeah.
It's I guess it's in the remake, I suppose. It's probably in one of the light gun games. I can't remember if it's in any of the Revelations. I'm almost certain. And then Nemesis is in one of them. Hunters are in 3, maybe.
I was going to say 3. I think that I can think.
They're definitely in 2. They're definitely in 1. They're definitely in Code Veronica. They're definitely in 5. They might be in 3, but maybe they're not because Nemesis is hanging about. There's lots of spiders in 3. Oh, that reminds me. You know when you get the crane key in Antarctic and then that giant black spider? Did you even bother to fight that? Because I just ignored it.
No.
I'm never fighting you, mate.
It's not
a waste of ammo.
It is not a problem.
Yeah, it's not, is it?
No.
I could never shoot that one. There's like 3 spiders. And 2 of them. I think you go in and you get something to do with the gas mask. Yeah, could never get that guy. I don't know if you even can.
The guide I was reading said the one under the floor you can't kill it. You just got to
just let it poison you multiple times. Yeah, okay.
You're good at getting
poison. I wasted all that ammo.
Yeah,
yeah, mate. That is my MO in this game. Give me all that poison. I got the remedy, etc. Prodigy.
But yeah, I guess to sort of draw a line under this, like great game. Yeah,
it is a great game. It's a classic survival horror masterpiece, in my opinion.
Yes, it's an awesome game. The thing about again, just to sort of touch on it again, like if you're so minded, the Resident Evil world is somewhere you can just get so lost, and like in the best way possible, you can just fall down a wiki hole and just never come up again for air. We'll never.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's probably going to be based around this game and the origins that it tries to tell here.
I'm glad we've played it now. And I guess, in your mind at least, onto the goat next time round.
Onto the goat. Are you enjoying it so far? As a little teaser?
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Excellent.
Having such a good time with it. Like I said, I think already in the podcast, I am about to fight the Undertaker dude. He's going to rip his own spine off. I think I said this in the remake podcast we did. I'm not sure where he was thinking he was going to go from here. Like after
he did. Yeah, in the remake one. That's great. Yeah, what's his life after that if he wins?
Yeah.
Oh shit! My legs are down there.
And every time I hear the merchant go, "What are you buying?" all I can think of is you, because for some reason, like there must have been a period of time where you were just saying that all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Probably. There was a really good, what was it called? Was it Project 64? Ultra
There is
Mega
something
64.
yeah.
There's an old, like, really early, probably pre-YouTube or very early YouTube channel, something about that, Mega 64 or something. And they had a video. I remember they had a classic video on there where one of the guys dressed up LA being like, "What are you buying?" To all these people buying like drive-through stuff and whatever. I wonder if I can find that, but that still exists somewhere. Gotta love the merchant, but like I say, don't shoot him because that kills every single one of them in the entire game.
You must. It's the same I assume you can complete if you like as soon as you see him. If you just cap him, there must be people that do that and can complete the game.
Oh, there must be, yeah.
Because you're gonna have to do it just with a pistol because you don't find these weapons. You got to buy.
You get the shotgun.
Oh dear.
Yeah, because you get it from that house in the village. Whereas if you don't go into the chainsaw man, never shows up.
Oh,
in the first section.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, if you go to the house with a shotgun, then chainsaw, don't go in there. Then wait till all the villagers leave for bingo. Then you can go in unharassed and just pick up the shotgun afterwards.
Yeah, before we do this podcast again, I'm going to replay that initial section down to the village and do that because I remember that scaring the absolute living hell out of me. And I remember, and it did it again when I was playing the OG 4. Just going down, I was just shitting myself the whole time I was in that area. Because every time you're like, oh, I've got
it's so good.
Someone's like kicking a door down or climbing through a window or chucking something.
Yeah.
It's relentlessly scary. You're never safe.
Yeah. And oh man, the Resident Evil 4 HD project on PC is so good. Oh, I've gone back to that now.
Yeah,
I fixed the Wii one again. I couldn't be asked with the waggle shit. Every time you do a key, you've got to wag the button. I was like, I'm nearly 40. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I gave up.
A shame, but yeah, like the movement actually fits that controller quite well.
It does. Yeah, my arm was just getting tired. You have to flick the remote to like reload. So you hold down aim and then flick the remote reloads. And I don't. There should be a button.
You have to play through it with your chainsaw controller.
Oh, that's the ultimate. That is the ultimate sort of hardcore mode, hard mode or whatever it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like I said, next up we've got we're continuing some of Resi with Resident Evil 4 from 2005. Alex will be very excited for this. It is the GOAT. Anything else? Are we bringing it home, Alex?
Code Veronica was published in the Power Regions by IDOS. How about that?
IDOS.
Some of that, yeah.
So in between putting out Tomb Raider games, they were flopping out.
Yeah.
Code Veronica.
Code Veronica, yeah. I have nothing else to add. I had a great time. I'm still having a great time in Summer of Red. Oh, this has been a strong one.
And now we're on to. That's another thing we'll have to decide on which Summer of Resi has been the best year.
Yeah,
of games.
I think so.
I guess if you liked what you heard, and even if you didn't, why not give our numbers a bump by subscribing to us on your podcast feed of choice? Or if you prefer to consume our podcast in visual format, you can head on over to YouTube. Apologies, I think maybe the most recent one isn't up because I messed up the audio, but most of them are there where you can subscribe to our YouTube channel by searching for A When It Is You podcast. Made that eventually. If the podcast isn't enough for you, the best place to get us these days is probably over in Blue Sky, at Thrillix for Alex, at Super Smiley for me, and at Winner Is You Pod for us. If you're one of the youngins, we also got TikTok. Head on over there and search for Winner Is You Pod if you so wish. Alex, I don't think you've got any housekeeping based on our chat before we started recording, but do you?
Well, the only thing I have housekeeping related is I was listening back to our previous episode on the way to work for the last couple of days. Pretty egotistical, I suppose. And I just want to it's more your voice. I just want to update everybody and let them know that I did delete Marvel Snap from my phone as threatened. So I've completely quit, cold turkey. Balatro has stepped in and saved the day.
How does it feel, Alex, to be free? Because it's your fault.
I played a lot of that on my holiday. So much Balatro.
And you dragged me back in.
I did, didn't I?
Uh-huh.
And now you're still there again, I assume.
Yeah, you dragged me back in when I was sitting in a Costa in Southampton, about to get on a ship.
Oh, God, yeah. It's a great holiday. Sorry, but talk about Balatro again now. Great fucking holiday game that was. Like, played a lot of that. Played a lot of Resi 4,
so when you played
which played a lot of...
When you're No, carry on. You played a lot of Balatro, you played a lot of Resi 4.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Yeah. and a bit of on the drive back. I played because I didn't want to have to play something. I never want to play something like too hardcore in a car. I don't get like motion sick or anything, but I felt like if I'm playing Resident Evil, that little laser dot sight while the car's bumping around, I'm going to be missing shots, wasting. Can't have that. So I played a bit more of the old Paper Mario 1000-Year Door or whatever it is, because that's just walking and reading and pressing a button every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go on. But what were you saying about Balatro?
Yeah, when you're playing Balatro, are you sort of like in your mind working on anything? So in my mind now, I've got all of the decks that I've unlocked. I'm like, right, well, what I did was like, right, I wanted, was it like the third difficulty? So I'm now trying to get them all up to the fourth difficulty.
I'm trying to unlock a deck that requires me to beat the game on.
So yeah, essentially while you're doing that, what I do is I just go through the decks I've unlocked and try and work through them again. So like, I'll work through them all until I hit a brick wall, then I'll go on the 2 difficulty, 3 difficulty, and now I'm on the 4th difficulty. Have you done any of the challenges that we spoke about? Probably.
No, I keep staring at them, but then I just can't stop going back to just try and unlock that deck.
They're quite intimidating.
Okay. But yeah, I have to win a run with any deck on at least blue stake difficulty to get the next one up. So I got the blue deck to blue stake, and then I just can't do it because I think blue stake you get -1 hand, and the blue deck you already have, or is it -1 discard, and you already have -1 hand. So so now I'm trying to do blue deck on the abandoned deck.
Okay.
Because that's the one where you don't have any face cards, and I find it really get like full house. And
so I think I ended up completing that by getting the Joker that treated every card as a face card. I basically just turned all my numbered cards into face cards and carried on with my life.
I think one of the best ones I had was the one there's the opposite of that, where it's like get a multiplier for each time you play a card that isn't a hand without a face tag.
Yes, maybe that's how I did it actually.
And then if you get the hiker on there as well, who trades the cards every time you play them, then it just becomes like a better than normal deck anyway, but with fewer cards to get in the way of trying to get matching ones. What a great game.
So good.
All the strategies. So yes, that's what I play on my mobile all the time now. No more Marvel Snap. Yay me.
For the one last Balatro thing before we move on, I guess, for the first time I can't remember which deck I was running, but I completed a run with that Joker card that when you pick the next blind is that the right term? It destroys the Joker card to the right of you, to the right of the card, and adds its cost to the mult.
Is that actually? I've always been too scared to try it.
Yeah, I had a Joker card that was always giving me Joker cards every time I beat a blind. So I just kept that, and just every time it gave me a new one, if I didn't like it, I was just sticking it to the right, and ended up with like.
That's very clever.
Yeah, I was getting over 100 mult a hand with it by the end of it.
I am very disappointed in myself to have to tell you that it was only in the last few days, having played this game for probably 200-300 hours at this point, that I realised you can rearrange your cards at the bottom of the screen before you play them.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Because all the time I'd be like, the first card triggers a whatever. No, it was always coming up. It's always coming up first because I'm already. They're always set by rank. So I was like, this is really annoying. Why can't I choose what order that they get put in when they go up into the hand? And then I realised they were not fucking.
Yeah, you just got to move them about.
Fool. I felt like Kelsey with that kind of nonsense.
if I can ever remember what the
Kelsey.
If I can ever remember what the actual like Joker order was, I'll text you, and because it was really fascinating. But like I had one of my first win ever where every single hand I was having to move.
I'm not talking about the Jokers being moved around. Yeah, I'm talking about the playing cards. Yeah, cool.
But like on that bit different. Every single hand I played, I was having to move my Jokers around to make it work properly. It was like there was one that was like if this hand had been played before, it was ×3 mult, and it was like giving me ×2 mult if I had some other cards to the left of it. So
this card mirrors the Joker to the right, or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. It was the one where it was destroying cards. So, and I had to mirror the one, so I was having to move it because after obviously it destroyed the card, it was safe to move it. So I was like, It was an absolutely unholy deck, but yeah, got to win it with it. So.
Actually, one other tiny little bit of housekeeping. I'm just going to throw that out there to both of you, because I know one of you's listening and one of you sat right next to me listening. I had a thought the other day that what we should do for the draft is every year we should have one draft where we do 30 years ago. So we should do this year. We should do a 95 draft, and we can use the archive of game ranking those scores instead of Metacritic.
Yeah.
So I think the next draft we do this year.
Terrible. I'm only hitting my stride now because we're entering an era of games that I was like utterly switched on. If we do 95, we're back to David like picking things at his arse, like Crusader Kings.
I mean, it's going to be so tough for all of us. But I think, then the next year we'll do 96 and 97, just for like a 5-year stretch, because we're going to be doing this for another 5 years at least. And Kelsey will always be our friend now.
Yeah,
so
to the end of time.
Unless we said something about, unless he hates Steve Burnside and he's already gone. I don't know.
Steve, and he's just absolutely like raged out, snapped his.
And if he is, then I'm sorry. Nobody can hate that guy, surely.
I don't know. If I was Claire, I'd probably hate him. Just staring.
Oh well, Claire does. Yeah.
Although she didn't. She
almost kissed him in the end, though.
She liked him. Weirdo.
Glad she didn't.
And on that bombshell, I've been David, he's been Alex, and we have been The Winner Is You, and I'm out.
Keep gaming, Resi!